Okay, rulers, settle down. Ruler School is brought to you by Odyssey Games, where you can go to get pre-orders of all the upcoming Force of Will sets, as well as releases of previous sets after they come out. ccgprime.com with over 100,000 Force of Will singles, as well as out-of-print boxes from the past, and TCG accessories, as well as fowlibrary.com, a wonderful resource for deck lists, article discussions, and more. Check them out at fowlibrary.com, as well as these amazing patrons. Special thanks to guest lecturer members Fight Ramen and Shukong Fu. Thank you for your support. Class is in session. Hey there, rulers. Welcome back after a long week of Force of Will to Office Hours, your favorite ever live Force of Will podcast featuring just me and Paul tonight. How you guys doing? Paul, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I took a break from playing Pokemon Arceus to be here.
Yeah.
So this is going to be me trying not to talk about Pokemon Arceus for an hour. That's going to be really hard.
Sounds good. I believe in you. We are going to talk about some really awesome spoilers for Game of Gods Reloaded. As a reminder, pre-orders right now for pre-release kits of Game of Gods Reloaded are currently available at Odyssey.com. Odyssey Games' website, not Odyssey.com. You can check the link down below to go check that out. Go right to the page where the pre-orders are up and get those in. And yeah, we're looking forward to that. And also, I do want to give a huge thanks to CCG Prime, who's given us a playset of the Yggdrasil monthly promo to give away tonight. So we're going to be doing that later tonight. Paul, we've gone through the rulers. We got through 3 of the 5 Marvels. We got through the Ruler School exclusive spoilers. It's time for more Marvels into Super Rares. You ready? You excited?
Let's do it. My body is ready.
My body is also ready. Let's go ahead and jump
right in. You got your water?
I do. I have my water.
Okay, we're good.
We're good. Okay, we're jumping in. So first up, we have Amadeus, the beloved fallen angel. 5-drop 30/30. Oof. This card is villains, and let's see.
You don't even read the text on this thing.
It's hard to read it from this. It's hard to read it from this.
I can read it. I got it on Force of Will.
Yeah, go ahead. Read it out for us.
So it's got villains.
Yeah.
If damage will be dealt to you, it is dealt to this card instead.
That's right.
Enter. Your opponent discards 2 cards. As you play this card, you may rest any number of recovered dark spheres you control. You pay 1 black less to play this card for each dark sphere rested this way.
Mm-hmm.
Revolution. So that was all before the revolution.
Yeah, which is huge.
God's Art Wrath for 0. Put an order card your opponent controls into their ruler area as a ruler.
Okay.
Remove all resonators your opponent controls from the game.
Okay.
Your opponent cannot play cards that share a name with the card removed this way as long as this card is in the field.
Okay.
Players cannot chase to this ability.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty great. It's pretty huge, right? The fact of the matter is that you have this. It's nice to have a 3-drop or a 3-drop with Book of Ibon,
or a 3-drop with Shion, Songstress of Shangri-La.
The thing about this card is I love the fact that it is providing you a non-order boss monster for playing orders, right? That's been the one thing about I think Loki, especially Loki, a little bit of Gnarly kind of, especially Kaguya has struggled with this, and Odin has struggled with this a little bit, is that the boss monsters of those decks tend to be the ordered card, right? Gnarly's yeah, okay, I'll order, but she's really just playing the deck, right? Loki has enough ways to cycle through himself that it's not a big deal that his boss monsters are ordered, because he'll just bring out the next one almost immediately when he needs to. Kaguya has felt really weird because as we've said before, Kaguya uses Hanzo early, but Hanzo's not a boss monster. It's just an enabler. So then later you have to unorder it and then order into your boss monster, and it's felt a little weird. Odin is playing Protect the Castle with Brute with Mistletoe, right? So your boss monster is your ordered card. this is like our first real card that to me screams boss monster. And it's good if you revolution it for sure, but you also just don't need to for it to feel like a boss monster. And I like that. I like that a lot. It's definitely bringing some freshness to to Dante. I like the fact that it's not you just pay 1 black less for each dark sphere you control. Like you actually have to actively do it, which is nice. I like to see that kind of balance. A 30/30 for 3 that makes your opponent discard 2 cards is like crazy. Like that's still a good card. And the Gods Art is like, it's matchup dependent, right? Because if you're not playing against an order deck, it's kind of meh necessarily. But also it's just like if you can protect her, it's really good. Paul,
Yeah, this feels like this feels like another anti-order card in that sense, right? So like Loki is the anti-order ruler, but this is like the anti-order card. The revolution is like a mini Satan effect in that it's like put that back in your hand, we're gonna remove everything, and like it's gonna neg you hard. But the idea, I'm gonna put a 30/30 on board and it's gonna redirect damage, it's gonna make you discard, and the design of that, it's a really good play space, but also like it's sort of tying together these 2 pieces of lore we know about Fallen Angels, right? So like we had last set, but then we had like 2 clusters ago where Fallen Angels, like Lucifer was all about discarding your opponent's hand and stuff like that. So it's a really good blending of those card effects.
Yeah, for sure. Chris Beck, revolution is when you order a card. Yes, it is the additional text gained when you order a card. Also, I'm just going to play a single copy of this in Loki.
Yeah.
Like, because I can give my stuff quick cast, and the idea of like being sitting on a Schmel, so I'm already keeping my opponent's hand low, and then being like, cool, kill my Schmel, apply a neg 30, or neg 10, neg 10, quick cast this thing in, even for 5, because you can't cancel it, so I don't mind paying for 5, and Loki typically plays high stone count end games anyway. And then I'm just gonna like make you discard 2 more, and then immediately God Art you and rip rip everything to shreds. And then just sit on this like 30/30 that like, how do you kill it? Like, that's cool, right? That's really cool to me. An uncancelable God's Art always feels nice. Just because it's like it is a one-time effect, but like sometimes all you need it to resolve is 1 time. And so having that guarantee is nice. It is, again, as long as this card is on the field, which is also I really like for that fact of like it's not a complete shutdown. You still have a way to kind of play around with it. But that's also why the discard is nice, because like your opponent's then top decking the removal, and there's all kinds of elements to this that I really, really, really enjoy. Would I run her in World Gang? Probably not. Probably not. I mean, she is a fallen angel, so you could grab her theoretically. Maybe as like a tech one of in World Gang, like because you can grab it if you need it.
Probably just sideboard, even like 2 of it is fine. Just sideboard it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And like just have that against like other control matchups, like wait for it, Kaguya, where you actually need them to discard their hand.
yeah, that's true. All in all, this is a great Marvel. It's super great. It has obviously a lot of implications in Dante. It has some tech applications outside of Dante, so it feels very good, which is what I like to see. We like to see not just slap it in only its ruler's deck, make cards go farther. So especially at the Marvel rare slot. So I really like that a lot.
You know what's really good about this though?
What? The artwork?
The feeling of like Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah. That's me. It's my fave. I saw this artwork and I was like,
you're welcome.
So good.
It's like, oh hey, look.
Jeremy's favorite artwork style. Next up, we have our first Dark Sphere, which gives us a nice indication. This is Dark Sphere Amadeus, 1 black edition Dark Sphere with Eternal. Hopefully all of them have Eternal. That'd be really nice. J rulers you control gain +2/+2. Very, very simple. This is a good kind of starting input about it's probably going to be each dark sphere might give a generic buff to your J ruler based on what it is, as Amadeus like gave +2/+2 counters, so like gave just like generic stat pumps to stuff, so that makes sense here. So it'll be interesting to see what, you know, Beatrice does versus Carlina does versus Astema versus Belial. It'll be interesting to see what they gain in terms of giving keywords to stuff. So yeah, not really much to say, but it is nice to kind of get an indicator about what dark spheres are going to be about.
Yeah.
This is probably
I'm
like
interested.
Go ahead.
I was looking just at Asmodeus, the ruler from last set, and like his whole like put more stats on your stuff. So like this is very much his sphere, right? Like,
Yeah.
So it's in flavor.
Yep, for sure. And it is like, it might not be necessarily the dark sphere you grab first, but if they don't all have eternal, it might be the one you grab first, right? So that your first dark sphere always sticks around. We'll have to see what the other ones bring to the table.
I'm hoping they don't.
Yeah, that's fair.
Mostly because we have Kataro and Kaguya, who's able to just board wipe additions. So just like having some counterplay to this deck would be really balanced.
For sure.
And then you would just have one, like you would have to start over again, right?
Yeah.
And I like that idea.
For sure.
So
next up, we have the last Marvel rare, which is the quote-unquote generic. And I say generic in the sense that it is like Ma'at, where Ma'at's really supposed to be able to be played in a lot of different stuff. Like it might have one thing that it's like really, really good in, but it's so splashable that you can use it in almost everything. And that's Dark Alice. So she fits into that slot. So Dark Alice in Ma'at, 1 white, 1 black, villains. But if you're playing her in Alice, she loses villains and becomes a Tails, and you can play 4 copies of her. 6/6. On enter, with non-ordered, you get to peek at your opponent's hand and grab a Resonator card and remove it from the game. When she's revolutioned, on enter, she generates a black Regalia and then looks at your opponent's hand and grabs a non-Resonator card and removes it from the game. And then she gains the continuous ability of Darkness Regalia you control, gain tap, gives target J/Resonator -6/6. Carlina's sphere once per turn produce 2 will of any attribute. No, I think Carlina would I think Carlina's sphere will probably give barrier, if I'm being all honest. Because of the fact that like on her flip side she has barrier or some kind of ability to prevent damage. Something of that nature. But that's a guess. So yeah, Dark Alice and Ma'at, super solid card in Loki, in Odin, in New Alice, in in Dante, like probably even, you can't play her in Yarly, but like Odin, Loki, and Dante are probably all going to play this card. Also, any like non-order deck that's black-white is going to play 4 copies of this card. This card is very, very good, even non-ordered. It's a decent stat line. It doesn't have quick cast. Even just the ability to enter, peek at your opponent's hand, and remove a card from the game is huge. We paid 2 will at non-instant speed to do that, and we didn't get a body out of it in this format, in the form of like Curse of Ragnarok. So this is very good. And then obviously, when ordered, she also turns into a plus a second discard, a Regalia generation, and a spot removal. If you're like peak uninterrupted Dark Alice, hit everything she does on an order, she's a +6. Because especially in Alice. In Alice, she's a +6 because you'll net 0 for playing the card, draw a card, Regalia from Alice, Regalia from Dark Alice, steal 2 cards from your opponent, and kill something your opponent played. She's a +6 for 2
or more.
Or yeah,
kill one thing or more.
Yeah, or potentially more the longer she sits around on the board. Yeah. Cards has baseline good, ceiling insane. Card is very good. I like it a lot. Probably I'll put it out there now. Full art Dark Alice, probably priciest card of the set.
Of the cluster, probably.
Of the cluster. That's a
Of the
really
cluster thus far, right? So like, who knows what else
sure.
is coming up? But like, as of right now, like this would be the most. Yeah, Dan's finally here. Way to go, Dan! Took you forever.
Thanks, Dan.
I'm looking at this in terms of like how could Belial or even like a Carlina list use this, and I'm thinking like no more than 3, no less than 2.
Yeah,
That's kind of like where I'm at.
Yeah,
because it's one of the only discard spells we have in the game right now, right?
Well,
and it's generic discard.
We've got Curse of Ragnarok still.
So I got Curse of Ragnarok
when coupled with Suya, but again, that doesn't produce you a body, right? So
right. And so like between Suya and this, you're getting some really good discard options out of it. Even if you're not getting the full value of the card, it's still like really solid to just look at your opponent's hand and peek at it.
For sure. You can play her off of Mother Goose. She is a fairy tale. Didn't think about that. That's some Wanderer support.
Who would have guessed
Gary
it?
Felix.
Dark Alice gives us Dark Alice support.
I mean, and look at this artwork. Like, just, this artwork is so good. So good.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Jerry? Good to have you here. Also, Ifiz, welcome from the Discords, buddy. Good to see you here.
Hello.
I guess while we're getting to it here, as I see people who are in the chat, super glad that you all are here. If you want to be able to spam emotes in the chat, consider clicking that join button down below. If you like the content we do, get access to all the emotes, click that little join button right below you on the screen. And I'm sure Rustin will spam a bunch of emotes for me in the chat to show you all the cool emotes. The blue-black, make your opponent discard 2 cards.
Yeah, that's very generic, though.
That's a good point, Robert. That's a good point.
Yeah.
So all in all, this card is great. I absolutely love it. Absolutely perfect cap to the Marvels, in my opinion. Also, I'm gonna play.
That's right, Dark Mage.
I'm gonna play like 3 copies of this in Loki. Like, easily gonna play 3 copies of this in Loki.
Oh yeah, if not 4. Like,
because it's white-black, it's hard for me to argue for 4. But also, like, I put it in the same vein of no more than 3, no less than 2, like somewhere in there. Maybe 4th in the sideboard, but yeah, very good card.
Oh, that's right. We don't have dual stones.
We don't have dual stones. Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
Can't do that.
In Wanderer, sure, 4 copies in Loki. Let's go.
Yeah.
But like not this. Next up, we have a Fragment of Omniscient Power. 1 white, quick cast, draw a card. Force Resonance Genesis. If you spent will produced by a regalia to play this card, draw 2 cards instead. This is a normal rare, and boy does it feel like it. Alice is already drawing me 1,000,000 cards and producing me regalia. IU is drawing me cards. The Alice Enters the Game of Gods is drawing me cards. Giving Alice a support card that says draw a card, and that's it, is like, I have other things that do that but better. So like, I don't need this. It's just wasting deck space at that point. So
yeah, this card, I think you play 2 of it or 0, and I think you do that. You have that question after rotation.
Sure.
So you're like, if I just need more cards because we only have 5 sets. Cool. There you go. We have a draw card, generic draw card. You probably don't need it though.
Mega Drybone, thank you for the super chat. Keeping up with the good work. We're glad to be here doing the good work. Glad to have you here enjoying the stream. In the words of in the modified words of the player from the guy from Ted Lasso, foul is life instead of football. Foul is life. I'm watching Ted Lasso because I got Apple TV finally. So
I don't have Apple TV, so
foul is life.
I have to miss out.
Foul is life. Somebody make me a
Foul
meme
is
of that
life.
guy for that guy saying foul is life. Next up we have Charlotte going into the super rares. Back to the top of the order. Charlotte Chasing Light. 2 white 7/7 quick cast tails. J/resonators your opponent controls cannot be recovered as long as this card's in the field. Nice little stun card throwback. Wanderer people with Road to the Sacred Queen. Rest a recovered regalia you control. Prevent the next damage that would be dealt to this card by chance or abilities sharing an attribute with the regalia's tapped color until end of turn. And then Revolution. Enter, destroy up to X target non-magic zone entities your opponent controls, where X is the number of regalia you control. And then water regalia you control, gain tap, draw a card. This is awesome to me. I really like this card. IU feels like the order on your turn. Charlotte feels like the order on your opponent's, which is a nice little like tempo, like momentum for Alice to be able to maintain. I mean, with two or three regalia, like pop 3 things for 2 and put a body on board, because it does say entities, right? So it can hit additions, it can hit regalia, it can hit J rulers, it can hit anything that's not a stone. Like that kind of selective removal is very good, especially when it's massive for us, a good amount of will and gets you a body. Yeah, those are my initial thoughts. Paul, you have anything else to say about this card? I've got a couple others, but I wanted to give you a chance.
This feels really exclusive to Alice, and that's it. So there's not a lot of splashability with this.
Sure.
So I'm seeing double white, and I'm like, oh, maybe I can use this in Odin.
Except it's a
Tails. Your
Tails.
opponent controls. Oh, it's a Tails. You can't even use it in Odin. So don't even try. We will give you a game loss for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's exclusive for Alice. I don't see any other Tails white ruler using this.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna see it in like Deus Ex.
Yeah, but this is your board wipe.
Yeah, spot removal. I mean, we haven't seen any spot removal for her yet, so like this is just really good.
Non-cancelable.
Yeah,
blow up the field. Yeah.
Yeah. The one thing to note about this card is that she doesn't prevent combat damage and she doesn't prevent raw destruction. Which is nice. I like that she's not just like omni-protected. We have seen a rise in damage-based removal coming from things like Gradius, or like resonator effects. So that's not unheard of. It's also a nice little like thing against like dealing with like burn spot. Red does a lot of the like damage-based removal. And there are abilities that burn too. So it's a nice protection without being so insane because it's not omni-protection. So I like that.
But in Wanderer, as someone mentioned, Roderick Sykes put this out there, and then I commented underneath that. He was talking about the Mephistopheles invert, where you get this out with that, and then they suddenly don't have anything they can do because all the resonators are tapped down permanently. And then I said, what about Road?
Road to the Sacred Queen.
Road to the Sacred Queen.
Yeah.
Play that. Play Charlotte. No recovery.
Hey. Just enjoy.
Mono White Lumia control. Let's go.
enjoy prison. You ain't moving. I don't think Gradius would... I don't know how Gradius would work with this. I'd have to specifically look. Because she's not losing it's like creating a conditional state. Right? Like a conditional effect. I'd have like a replacement effect. Of the next damage. And I'm not sure if
Charlie would say.
And I'm not sure that's an ability. I'll have to ask Charlie. Because you're right, if Gradius does blanket, then like meh. But like if this is creating a replacement effect that would then bypass Gradius, like awesome. Great. The also thing to note is that she's probably going to be a 9/9 most of the time because you'll probably have 2 regalia up, so then Gradius doesn't even kill her, so it's like meh. But good stuff to know. Oh, also beautiful art. Neko Yubashi coming in strong with the artwork. Yeah. Next up, we have a real heavy hitter card for Alice, in my opinion. Deep Blue Soldier. 1 white, 400. Enter, choose an attribute you don't control. A regalia token with the chosen attribute, and make it. You can banish this card to give regalia you control Eternal, and then when a J Ruler enters your field under your control, you may put this card from your graveyard into your hand. This card to me is going to be a staple in Alice decks, because of just like, I didn't hit 6 Sage Stone on one, so I can't get a thing. Cool, play this, like, right? And then it's just like recurring value that gets you some action and gets you some momentum going on turn one. Is gonna be important for Alice for sure. And we talked about her last week about what are all the ways we're going to see to have her produce regalia. And if there's not enough, she's going to feel bad. But if there is a lot, then suddenly you're like, there's something here. And this is just that. This is just a generic, good, repeatable value card that protects and advances your board state plan. Super solid.
Yeah. At this point, we have 7 available copies of Regalia production in the deck. 4 Alice enters, 4 of this card, and then Alice herself. So there are 2 types of people in this world. There's people like Jeremy who saw this and were like, "Oh yeah, that's it." And then there's people like me who are like, "Is this good though?" And then you look at it with all the other support and you're like, "Yeah, this is really good." It's just a good card.
Yeah, it's just a good card.
It's just a good card for what it does. Also works with Deep Blue the Phantom board.
Because it's a soldier.
There we go.
Hooray.
Yay.
Next up, we have a card that we've already seen, just the new artwork for it, so I don't really want to talk about it. I just wanted to mention how cute the art is. This is Violet and Maribella chasing fire. So very clearly having this theme of characters chasing things. We already know there's going to be a Virgil chasing darkness card somewhere down the line. Coming back here with this 5/7. The artwork for this one is really, really nice. I think they'll both look really good full art. Obviously, the promo is full art, but this will also look really good full art. So that's really nice to see two such unique artworks between the 2 cards. Cool card. Don't know where it's gonna fit quite yet because of Machina not being red, but I'm okay with this like splash ability card that's probably gonna go in just any red deck anyway because of how good it is. But the new card is Tiny Dragon of Ma'at. Roderick Sykes showing up when red is discussed. We summoned you. We're not going to talk about red very long. I'm sorry, buddy. We have Tiny Dragon of Ma'at. 2 red, 1 colorless, 6/6 swiftness flying. You may pay 1 less to play this card if you control a J Ruler. This card gains +6/+6 as long as you control a J Ruler. So this boy is a 12/12 Swifty Flyer for 2 if you're ordered. If you've got a J Ruler. This card's very good in limited.
It's your bomb in limited.
It's your bomb in limited for sure. I think that this is actually a nice Nyarlathotep card because I think it gives Nyarlathotep less and hear me out on this. I think it gives Nyarlathotep more outs for good pressure that aren't, I need to combo loop you. Right? Because an Isis calling a stone when ordered, suddenly this card is free, right? And then you can just sit on the Isis instead of having to feel like you have to crack your stones immediately and going off. So I like this card for being able to play Nyarlathotep a little bit differently. It is a nice follow-up to ordering the Violet, right? Because the Violet will produce 2 red and then can immediately play this card, so they work really well together. Cool card. Adorable. It's a dragon, so we'll probably come back to this card next set with Fushi and Genshi Tenshon. In terms of meta implications right now, draft. That's it. That's all I got.
I could potentially see this being useful, and I don't think this is up on the channel yet, but I recently did a deck with Priscia, and being able to just generate a whole bunch of Red Will with that deck seems really good. And just have it in the wings and protect this thing.
Yeah.
And its tail, so it works all the other stuff too.
Well, it's not a tails, but it could, yes.
Violet's not a tails?
Oh, Violet's a tails. Sorry, I was talking about...
Violet is a tails.
Violet is a tails.
That's what I mean. So
you can work creatures
in with good.
Gary Felix, are 2-mana creatures viable this format? Absolutely. 3-mana creatures are viable this format. Based on the matchup. Yes.
Purely because of order.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, we have another card that we've already seen, but another very different artwork, which is absolutely gorgeous. I absolutely like this artwork more. The Guinevere, Spacetime Wanderer. We've already talked about her effects before. We don't really need to go about it again, but we do have to talk about this boy, Arthur. Deus Ex Machina continuing to break the trend mold of what I expected from this set in terms of what rarity certain cards were and what color he was expected to be. Arthur.
Keeping you on your toes, Jeremy.
Definitely so. Arthur, expecting him to be a super rare, was like, nah, rare. gets no love. But honestly, insane card. So 2 cost quick cast 7/7. So overstated quick cast 2-drop. Great. Only costs 1 blue. That's insane. So very splashable outside of himself. Draw 2 cards, then put a card from on top of your deck, or from your hand on top of your deck. Cool, Cheshire Cat effect back. That's great. Pay 1 blue, discard this card, draw 3 cards, put 2 of them back on top of your deck. Play this ability only if you control the J ruler. Still insanely splashable. Awesome. And then if you Revolution hit, Machine J resonators you control gain +2/+2. Whenever a machine you control is destroyed, not banished. Keep that in mind. Those are different. Has to be specifically destroyed. Produce a blue, and then apply the Revolution effects of cards named Lancelot, Spacetime Knight you control. So, order this guy, double up on your orders with order effects off of Lancelot. Can we talk about how, like, even if you removed all the text below the first enter effect, this card is bonkers good. Like,
Speaking of Shion,
you're like, even like if you could literally just take Tails quick cast enter, delete everything else, and I'd be like, 4 of. Are you playing a water deck? 4 of this card. Like,
done.
Immediately.
Olivia likes this card.
Any base water deck,
more.
any base water deck loves this card. Like,
I think Carlina likes this card.
The problem is you can't use the discard card. The problem is you can't use the discard card unless you control the Jade Ruler, so that's a little weird. So like you'd have to flip the Estema, but like maybe.
Yeah. Or flip your Belial, depending on what variant you're doing.
Yeah.
So like this is here. You can't cancel the effect unless you have Pointy Hat Witch. This thing is one of the best rares that we have so far.
Yeah.
It's just solid.
Absolutely solid.
So good.
And the other effects are also just good. Like Cheshire Cat was a mainline 4 of. Like Cheshire Cat was a mainline 4 of until she rotated, and even then into Wanderer at 1 cost.
Oh, yeah.
1 cost 0/2 Shroud non-quick cast. This is 2-drop, sure, a little bit more expensive, but a 7/7 gains quick cast and has the same effect. Sure, it doesn't have to shuffle back in, but I don't care. This card is great. I mean, like, if it was double blue, I probably wouldn't be hyping this card so much, but the fact that it's 1 blue, 1 colorless is, like, crazy good. This card is crazy good, and it's going to be gorgeous full art, and I'm going to want a playset of it, and I'm super pumped about it.
Yeah, this art is amazing. Just those heavy lines. But also, let's talk about this in relation to Big Show.
Yeah.
Right? So you can like play this after you've Big Showed. So like if you put something in your hand that was dead, you can it's just now on the bottom of the deck. Congratulations. So any blue green deck, could this potentially be used in Feasting Moonstar too?
I could see Feast Mooch playing this 100%.
This card goes far.
I could see Kaguya playing that. I could see Kaguya playing this card, especially since your moons can play it, right? If you have an ordered Hanzo, because one of the things that we've noticed about Hanzo, or like we've noticed about non-Feast Mooch Prisia box decks, is that sometimes you're just like, cool, I can foresee as much as I want from the top of my deck, but I don't have a way to get those cards in my hand. So, like, I need them in my hand now. So Arthur helps with that, right? Because he's, doing a lot of really good work there.
You can do it the opposite way too, right?
Like,
you can play Big Show and chase this.
Yeah, it's Good card. It's a good card.
Solid.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Also, just beautiful artwork. The heavy lines, it's the Arla style artwork, which is always great when it comes up. Speaking of interesting artwork, this is I can't remember, Rudra. I can't read it because of the wheel. Rudra, god of rampaging winds. 1 green 2/2 villains enter. Put 2+1/+1 counters on this card at end of turn. Not end of your turn. End of turn. Double the number of +1/+1 counters on this card. Revolution, at end of turn, this card deals X100 at end of turn. Again, not your turn. End of turn. This card deals X100 damage to each J/Resonator your opponent controls, where X is the number of +1/+1 counters on it, and apply the revolution effects of cards named Agni, God of Rampaging Flames, you control. First off, let's just go. This is very cool artwork to see. It's very unique. It's very different than anything we've really seen out of Force of Will up to this point, but also I think really, really indicative of the art style of the source material for this kind of character. And I really dig that. Like, it's a really, like, it might not be my favorite artwork, but they went for it. It's respectful of the source material and really, like, gives you the vibe of the source material, and I'm for it. Also, like, I'm having Jizo statues flashbacks. Real bad. Real bad.
I'm trying to figure out, like, where else this could be, like, really, really bonkers. And so there was an idea where I'm like, okay, Mikage sacrifices things to put counters on things. His stone does the same thing.
Oborozuki.
And his Oborozuki does that. There's the white destruction for resonators that puts 2+1/+1 counters on stuff. There's the black unchaseable remove +2/+2 and kill thing.
Yeah. Like, white is also the color of protection and eternal. And Oborozuki also has a spell that just doubles the +1/+1 counters on everything you control. Black, green.
And you have another eternal spell now because of.
And you have another eternal spell now. So
like enter.
So like a black, green, or like a white, green Oborozuki with Rudra is terrifying. Because you don't even need it to be. I mean, like, the order is for the board wipe, right? But, like, this boy gonna be big real quick. Like, real quick. So, like, imagine the average turn 1 play from Oborozuki, right? It gets 2 by itself. Say you reveal 2 off of Obo. Like, let's be, very. And then she just moves it there. So now Rudra has 4. So now then Rudra's gonna have 8. So Rudra going into your opponent's turn is a 10/10. And then into your turn, it's going to get another 8, which is going to make Rudra an 18/18 when it can first attack.
Her turn 1 threats are good.
Houston, we have a problem. This is very similar to the vein of, like, Jizo statues, right? Where they were a green card that if you let them survive, they were terrifying. Rudra fills that exact same vibe, just gets to it quicker and gets to it in a way that has a lot of extra niche stuff to it, which I'm digging it. It's cool flavor. I like us going back to it. Let's go. Or is he only for DEM Resonator plus Rudra, or is he only for machines?
Only for machines.
Which Resonator?
Deus Ex Machina.
Like in Wanderer, like the green blue High God. Maybe.
Let's
have Magic Crest of Light in hand with this card.
So I have it right here, Roderick. As this card enters the field, remove any number of counters from entities you control. This card enters the field with twice that many +1/+1 counters on it. As long as there are 10 or more +1/+1s, it gets the Flying Eternal, remove a +1, add a counter, or whatever. So yeah, it does work, actually.
Nice Fizz. That's awesome. singular box of Rebirth of Legend. It was $45. It came out with at least $100 worth in cards. Nice.
Ooh,
Nice. Rebirth of
excellent.
Legends still a pricey set. It's good stuff.
Good set.
Yeah, I like this card a lot. I think it's very cool. It also is a nice early threat for Jamimi, which I like.
Oh yeah.
Because it also like gets stuff out of your hand for her to like set up her sideboards later. Because she's like, cool, you answered the singular threat. Here's a flood. And you're like, I have erred. I mean, and that's what old Jizo statue stacks did, right? Like they threatened you with Jizo, magneting your like removal stuff, and then they're like, cool, now that you've wasted all that, I'm gonna push you down with more pressure. And those decks have always been good. So
one downside though, not a myth.
It is not a myth.
Sad.
It's not a myth. Next up, we have Shiva's Wind Aura. One green, one colorless, non-quick cast chant. Target Jay's last resonator you control gains plus 600 attack and flying until end of turn, and then it cantrips. If you're playing it with Shiva, you can play this card without paying its cost if it targets a Mimi tribe that was not the target of a card named Shiva's Flame Aura or Shiva's Wind Aura this turn. So we got to find out what Shiva's Flame Aura is. Probably going to give Swiftness, if in all honesty. But, like, this is a cool card. This is a nice follow-up to, like, a Chamimi. This is a nice follow-up to, if you can get a Shiva's, like, protection to, like, make the board really wide. This is a cool card. It's probably, like, a tech, like a 2-of, based on, like, if she has any swiftness things. If Shiva has any natural swift mimes, then this card becomes a lot better, right? But if she doesn't have any natural swift, then Flame Aura probably becomes the one that you play more of if, like, Flame Aura gives you swiftness. Overall, though, fine card. Good card.
Good utility card.
Good utility card.
Overall. Also, this gives Alice flying. Because she's a Mimi tribe.
Oh, are you talking about the?
Oh yeah. Oh, Zeus Alice. Oh yeah.
The one that already has flying. Most of the
one that
time.
already has flying.
Just give her double fly. She's really
fly
flying.
Twice.
Fly twice.
With 200 more, 600 more attack, and I get a card.
Yeah. Cool card. And then
you don't have to do it. It just exists.
Yeah, you could. And then we have our last cards, which. Oh boy, there's a lot to talk about with these two cards. Hold on, I gotta go. Should I go get the sword? Just like have it on my shoulder.
Get the sword.
Okay, I'll go get the sword. One second.
Unsheath the sword.
I'll put her on screen here real fast.
Boop.
Okay, there we go. Now I can talk about this card
go.
properly. So this is Dark Charlotte. Alternative. 1 black, Fallen Angel, 4/4. Villains. The dark side of the power of Amadeus that Charlotte absorbed has broken free and become Dark Charlotte. Villain plus card gains +2/+2 for each dark sphere you control. Whenever this card attacks, if it has 5 or more keyword abilities, you may remove or search your deck for a card named Excalibur Fallen and play it without paying its cost. If you do shuffle the deck, keep in mind that Revolution is technically a keyword ability, so she naturally has 1 just by herself. Swiftness and Barrier. If she is Revolution, she gains Swiftness and Barrier White. This means that also Enter is a keyword, apparently. Enter is a keyword ability, so keep that in mind that when she's ordered by Dante, she just naturally has 4.
Is villains a keyword?
Villains is not a keyword ability. It's a keyword, but it's not a keyword.
Not an ability.
Keyword ability.
Okay.
So
that's good.
All you have to do is hit a single like dark orb that gives her an ability, and like on order by herself, she's swinging. Great card, phenomenal card, very cool early threat boss monster card. The real strength of her comes from what the situation depends on for whether or not you need to cast Excalibur Fallen, right? Early game, this card is not going to... Excalibur Fallen's not really going to do much. But the thing is, you don't have to search it to cast it. Excalibur Fallen, Heteroclite Excalibur coming in like a boss. 2 black, quick cast chant. Name a Resonator card. Gets around barrier. Destroy all J/Resonators your opponent controls that share a name with that card. And if you're playing with Dante, then look at your opponent's hand. Your opponent discards all cards that share a name with the named card.
And it has quick cast.
Yeah, well, I mean...
And it gains quick cast.
Yeah. Even just by itself as a 2-cost removal spell in Dante, this card is very, very good. This card is also very, very good outside of Dante as a 2-cost removal spell. Gets around barrier, gets around, so like that's pretty huge. Just great card. This card off of a Dark Charlotte, based on situationally, is very good, which is why I like the way that Dark Charlotte is designed and probably why she's a super and not a Marvel, because in the early game, her swinging, you're probably not going to cast it, right? Unless you're actually using it more as like for the discard, right? And you might be using Dark Excalibur Fallen more as a discard spell at that point to get hand knowledge. But in the mid to late game, suddenly you're clearing threats, like you're clearing boards whenever she swings, which is very cool. I like these 2 cards a lot. I think that they are very good support for what Dante's wanting to do. And it's gorgeous artwork yet again. It's my favorite.
Even if we just take it from the pure card advantage standpoint, right? If this thing is swinging and you're searching this thing, you're just adding an extra draw, and then your opponent knows you have it.
Well, it doesn't go to hand. That's the thing.
It doesn't go to hand. It just casts.
It goes...
Is that how that says?
It says...
and play it without paying its cost.
And play it without paying its cost. So you have to cast it if you search for it.
Gotcha.
Which is why I said, like, maybe you're just going for the discard, right? But like, if I'm playing Dante and I'm swinging on turn 1, I'll be like, "What's your most important order card?" Maybe you have it in hand. Like, I'll call Hanzo, and see if that rips out.
I also noticed that the Excalibur Fallen does not declare target.
That's
so
what I said.
Name something.
Yeah, you just name it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't hear you say that.
Heteroclite Excalibur putting in some work.
Yes.
It's like my favorite weapon in all of Force of Will's history.
So far we've had Excalibur, Heteroclite Excalibur, Excalibur Cassius,
Excalibur X,
Fallen, Excalibur X,
Excalibur Fallen.
A lot of Excaliburs.
A lot of Excaliburs. Although, I mean, like, this is just This is just Heteroclite. Like, it's just Heteroclite Excalibur.
It's less pointy.
I mean, like, runes to pointing it. Like, it has the points here too on this artwork. Like, if you look at the artwork, it's got the little wingtip points. Like, there's
notably different points if you look at Charlotte's art.
They're not.
They're different points.
Yeah, sure.
They're pointing upward.
Sure, that looks like
different sword.
Robert, when naming Resonators, could you name a token that is all over the board? I do believe you could just call a card named Fallen Angel.
Fallen Angel token, right?
Yeah, you could name Fallen Angel token, and that should wipe all of the tokens off the board. Yes.
Dope.
Excalibur Genesis count then? Yeah, probably. The original 0-cost one. And then also the Excalibur that was 1 white, 1 blue. Like, they're just so many.
The sword has seen some things, man.
The sword has seen some things. It's seen some things. Yeah, like, just a cool card, cool artwork, and a nice little continuous, it's this cluster has so much, like, new and old, right? Like throwbacks plus very clearly new. And I'm so in. And it's not just characters, right? Even like theming, right? The corrupted character finding themselves split, Like that's been a thing throughout Force of Will's history. Hunting things down, with the chasing has always been a thing in Force of Will's history. Like, just cool stuff, man. Force of Will, keep it up.
Rustin, you're telling me I'm still waiting for Horn of the Dark Sacred Beast.
Horn of the Dark Sacred Beast. I'm waiting for Lave 4. Skip Lave 3.
Lave 4.
Just skip Lave 3. Just go straight to Lave 4.
Lave, the fourth one.
Lave, the fourth one.
Comma, the fourth one.
Yeah. Specifically, comma, the fourth one. Yeah, this set's... So will we have, I hope, a Rebirth of Legends coming out with set 3? So a mini set alongside set 3? That would be dope. That would be nice. I know that Rebirth of Legends has sold incredibly well. I know that CCG Prime is currently thinking about hosting a webcam tournament that we would help support for a full art play set of Rebirth of Legend going to the winner. That's currently on the in the works potentially, so that might be pretty cool. Speaking of webcam tournaments, I didn't talk about this at the top of the hour, but now that we're done with the spoilers, let's talk about it now. This Saturday, starting at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, because of when they're hosting it, the Force of Will Converging Wills Facebook page and Discord, the guys from Singapore, are hosting a webcam Discord tournament. It's $10 to enter, and then you have to do like $10 for your shipping, for your pricing based on what you based on what you win. They're doing a webcam Discord tournament. The information is in the description down below to get registered. I'm going to be competing in it, and we are competing for exclusive Singapore playmats. I'm going to put image number 1 up of the screen of 4 of them. So as you can see here, top 8 get picked based on seeding for the finished of the order. We've got the Rhea playmat, the Chibi Summer playmat, the Sylvia playmat, the Scheherazade napping playmat, and then also they've got Valentina from Alice Origins, Last Secret Sword, the Hot Pot Rhea Chibis, which is a favorite mat of mine, and then the mat that I'm gunning for, and none of you can take it from me. So the Tiny Violet Atomic Bahamut playmat. These are going to be the top 8 pricing. They're also going to be raffling off some other prizes, including a textured Melfi Chinese promo and a textured which is the Fallen Kingdom, currently valued at about $120 a piece. For a single one. So that's pretty dope. And then if for some reason you enter and you don't win anything, they were going to send you some Rulers League, Wanderer League promos just as a thank you for showing up. Just pay maybe $20 and I'll say you two owed me. That gets me DQ'd if I agree to that. So I don't want to get DQ'd. I just want to go for the playmat. But yeah, this is the playmat. I really hope you support them. Converging Wills and the Singapore gang have done a really good job and put in a lot of work to support their community as well as the online world community, making some really cool stuff. So please go check out that link and get signed up for the tournament for this weekend and give them the support. Again, it starts at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday or on Saturday. So let's do it. Ugh. You can still have time to sign up, so you got to get in there. Yeah. Paul, what was your favorite card of the spoilers tonight? I am also going to ask the same question in the chat, which is to say, give me your favorite card of the spoilers that we talked about tonight, and then we'll enter your name into a drawing to receive that playset of the Yggdrasil promos. So, it's New Frontiers. The format is going to be New Frontiers. Do I have a rough idea on the number of rounds? As it stands so far, it seems like it's going to be 3 to 4 rounds. But if we get more because of whose number of sign-ups as it stands right now, it seems like it's only about 8 or 9 people currently signed up. So we're hoping to get that number up. If it's 9 to 16, it'll be 4 rounds. And then if it's 17 to 32, it'll be 5. I don't expect us to break 32 players, so like max 5 rounds. And then that being said, like it's just Swiss. It's just Swiss standing. There's no top cut after it. So, yeah, give me your favorite card from the night, and I'll put you in the drawing, and then we'll do that.
Yeah.
You're allowed to vote for Guinevere. That's fine.
Yeah.
So, what was yours?
I'm gonna give you my top 3.
Sure.
Just because there are so many cards at this point. I'm gonna say Arthur is number 1. Agni is number 2. Or sorry, Rudra is number 2.
Number's number 2.
And then Amadeus is number 3.
Amadeus is number 3. Okay. I mean, it's just Dark Alice. It's just Dark Alice for me.
Oh, Dark Alice, frick. Okay, Rudra's 4th, Dark Alice is 2nd.
Rudra's 4th.
How could I forget? I didn't forget, I promise. Don't kill me, please.
Lorites next week? A playset of Wanderer League promo Lorites next week? Yeah, I'm down for that.
They are good looking. They look good. Lorites
for sure. I think Lorites for sure are going to be the ones that
you need Lorites
if
you're going to play Wanderer.
Yeah, I think for me it's very easily Dark Alice, just because of I saw her and my brain immediately started thinking like all the different decks that I'm going to play her in, even non-order decks.
Yeah.
This set as a whole, I mean, don't get me wrong, I think Duel 1 Game of Gods had a lot of cards that have splashability outside of order decks. Don't get me wrong there, for sure. Especially in the Wanderer format, there's like a lot of flexibility those cards bring. Game of Gods Reloaded more so, at least so far, has me thinking about like, oh, these are cards that I would play outside. I mean, like, how long did we talk about how good Arthur is in any base blue deck, right?
Oh my gosh.
Like, it's very cool. Pyrokinetic. And it just has me, I mean, it continues to have me excited, which is why I'm very excited that my boxes from the company are probably arriving tomorrow. So, just can't
I
wait.
just saw it over Playline.
Yeah? Give it to
Loki.
me. Okay.
In Loki.
Mm-hmm.
Order Dolly. Produce blue.
Mm-hmm.
Lancelot. So you look at the top 3 and you replace...
Or Arthur.
Arthur,
yeah. Oh, yeah. Use Arthur off of the dolly to then like draw 3, put 2 back. Friendship ended with Volmol. Arthur is my draw engine now.
I think that's probably okay.
Yeah, I think that's probably okay. I mean, don't get me wrong. Well, no, the problem is we can't do that. Because Arthur's the tails.
Oh, you're right. No.
We still have to use Snake. We still have to use Snake. I mean, don't get me wrong. I really do like Volmo, but like...
Oh my gosh.
No. Okay, let's give away some cards. So this is for a playset of Yggdrasil promos. Winner is... Diamond Dude 42. Congratulations, Diamond Dude. Thank you for joining us in tonight. Go ahead and email your name and address to rulerschoolcontent@gmail.com, and we will get those shipped out to you courtesy of CCG Prime. When is pre-release so I can request off because you have a job again? First off, glad you have a job again, Patrick. Secondly, pre-release will be the weekend of the 19th of February because the set comes out the weekend of the 25th of February when we were going to be in Vegas. Rip Vegas.
And this is where we would put a GP.
If we had one! We'll have one soon.
It's okay. I'll just spend my birthday weekend at the pre-release.
Yeah.
And then spend my actual birthday weekend, I don't know, doing something else.
Okay.
Eating Olive Garden.
There you go. Um,
No.
Playing Force Will at an Olive Garden. GP
Yes.
Olive GP Olive Garden.
Genius.
GP Olive Garden. There you go.
The authentic European player experience.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I do want to say that closes us out for here tonight. Again, a huge thank you to everyone for tuning in. It's always a really good time when we get to engage with you in the chat and find out what you guys think about all these cards. We'll have another round of these spoilers next week. This week's Wednesday feature match is actually going to be a wonderful tutoring session with Diva Dan, one of our channel members. Where we are going to be going all through an entire match talking about the matchup between Kaguya and Odin. That is going to be this week's. We're going to talk, it's breakdown, breakthrough, discuss the play lines, talk about why that matchup is what it is. And so you guys can hopefully learn a lot from that. If that's something that you're interested in being able to do, not necessarily for recording, but to engage with us and have those kind of coaching sessions one-on-one, you consider joining us at the support staff level down below. That is one of the higher tiers of membership where we get to do that kind of stuff with you. But regardless, we're glad that you're here and hope you consider just even liking, subscribing, and clicking that bell and watching some of our other videos, because that's what YouTube likes now, for you to go from one video to the next on another person on a same channel. So stick around after this to go watch some of our other stuff. But otherwise, check out Odyssey Games to get your pre-orders in for Game of Gods Reloaded, and check out the Singapore guys from Converging Wheels to get signed up for the tournament this weekend. Paul, any closing thoughts?
I just really want Olive Garden now, because we're just talking about it in the chat.
There you go. Well, that's it for us for tonight. And until next time, this has been myself, DMO73, and I've been joined, as always, by Paul Reisman, saying, class dismissed.